In today's episode, we'll be looking at the dynamic duo Bocellisa, the cave divers, as well as the Prime Minister addressing ASEAN and telling them all to reopen the countries. That's all coming up on Good Morning Thailand on the Thaiger. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay and this is Tim.
Hi everybody, and I'm looking forward to packaging the 17 times that Jay tried to do the intro and botched
it. We did. I'm not going to lie. The intro was an issue this morning. Anyways, let's move on. Let's start off by giving a quick thanks to Damien Jesser for being a Thaiger legend.
Legend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damien, as well as special mention for Frank.
Oh yes, Frank bailed me up last night. I was having a dinner. It's sort of at a hole-in-the-wall Mexican place, which is quite famous. And I was actually interviewing a Chinese gamer, a person who's made lots and lots and lots of money on gaming, because I sort of need to learn about this stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, Frank turned up and said hello, and nothing to do with that. That's another story. Frank, thank you very much for saying hello. I think, Frank, he was going to head to Chiang Mai. He'd been in Phuket for the sandbox. And I'm trying to remember, I think he was from Denmark, Norway.
Scandinavia.
One of those countries. Sorry, Frank, but thank you for saying hello.
Right. So you just held up a mask. What is the mask all about?
Okay, so this morning at 6 o'clock, stumbling out of my apartment, and I was on my way to work, and people were staring at me. I thought, what am I? Put my pants on. I didn't have my mask on.
Oh, no.
So I thought, okay, I've got to get a mask. Now, suddenly you think, okay, I'll go into I can't go into 7-Eleven because they won't let me in without a mask. So I had all these problems trying to figure out how I was going to get a mask. Luckily, there was a couple of little markets open, and one of the stalls were selling masks. And I thought they said it was 200 baht. I said, 200. So I didn't have enough money in my pocket, so I had to go and find an ATM. And then I came back and apparently it was only 20 baht. So thank you very much. These days you've got to, have you got your keys? Have you got your phone? Have you got your mask? It's just one of those things I forgot. But I felt like a pariah walking around without a mask.
Of course, everyone's looking at him. Oh, look at that white man, that foreigner. He's not wearing his mask. He doesn't respect the country.
Dirty Farang.
How dare you?
A bit of a trial at 6 a.m. in the morning. I eventually got here about 7.
Right. And before we get started, once again, quick shout out to Coffee Culture. Thank you, Coffee Culture, for sponsoring our show and providing us with these beautiful cups, as well as roast and ground coffee every morning. That's coffeeculture.asia. Type in the code Thaiger for 10% discount or click in the description below. Right. First topic for today is cave divers. Now, you've got an update regarding this story. I'm talking specifically about the cave divers that helped save the students and teachers that were stuck in
the Tham Luang cave.
The Tham Luang cave. Right, you've got more information on this.
Yeah, this was a big story, obviously, around the world, and I was right in the thick of it because I was doing some coverage for Deutsche Welle and also CNN at the time. I suppose I can reveal now that they thought I was in Chiang Rai, and I said, oh yeah, but I was actually sitting at home in my living room in my underpants doing these live crosses. Maybe I shouldn't tell that story. Anyways, the story that came out yesterday was about 2 of the British divers who reported in The Sun in the UK that they were facing charges of probably negligence because they were involved in the injecting of these 13 young people to extract them from the caves. Of course, it was a big problem. They found that these 2 British divers were the 2 that serendipitously found the boys, and they even say that they didn't expect to find them. And as they found them and then went back underwater, they were thinking to themselves, we're never going to get these guys out. Now, as it happened, there were 2 Australian cave divers, and the Sun article seems to be rewriting history somewhat and forgetting that these 2 Australian divers, one of them a doctor and an anaesthetist, came up with this almost ridiculously cunning plan to sedate the boys to bring them out. of course, the two British divers were involved then with the team, a huge international team of people that were staged along the way because they had to top up the doses of the. It's been revealed that they used ketamine,
Yes.
which is not only a horse tranquilizer and party drug, but it's also used as an anaesthetic in some poorer countries. But it was thought that they sort of put the boys into a mild sleep so that they wouldn't be
Jittery and panic or move around.
yeah. And they spent some 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours underwater with these masks on. I mean, the whole thing, that it actually worked and they got those 13 boys out, is amazing. But the Sun article just seemed to rewrite history, not only just leaving out these two Australian, and I'm not saying it because I'm Australian, but historically we know that these two Australian doctors were the ones that came up with this plan to extract the boys. And the other thing that was forgotten, Jay, is that the Australian divers were involved with negotiating with the Thai government to get immunity from any prosecution should the rescue go wrong. And they told the Thai government and the Thai people at the time that there was a strong chance that many of the lives would be lost. So, just some interesting historical revision there by the Sun in the UK. But congratulations to all the divers from all nationalities and the doctors who were involved with extracting those children. It was a huge international effort.
Right. On that note, let's take a quick break. And once we return from the break, we'll be talking about the dynamic duo Bocellisa as well as...
Bocellisa. It's like botulism.
Botulism. It's going to be a movement, as well as the Prime Minister addressing ASEAN. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand with me, Jay and Tim. It's now time to talk about Bocellisa. Hashtag Bocellism. It's a movement. It's happening. This New Year's, Andrea Bocelli and Lalisa from Blackpink have halfway been confirmed. So Andrea Bocelli has been confirmed as per, sources and the tourism authority.
Well, let me clarify that I've done some checking on Andrea Bocelli and his tour dates.
Yes.
Now, the last date he's got for December is December the 19th in Orlando, Florida. Okay. He's got an amazingly busy tour schedule. It's like every 2 days he's singing somewhere. And then on January the 8th, he's in Prague in the Czech Republic. So somewhere in between there, he's obviously said to his management, look, I want to have a holiday. I bet he's going to be home for Christmas and spending Christmas and New Year in Italy.
But Tim, he's been confirmed.
Well, so they say, so that's been reported. I just can't see it. But good luck to them.
He's been confirmed and you have reservations. What about Lisa from Blackpink, who we already know has a crazy schedule near the end of December? I mean, she's from one of the most popular Korean pop bands in the world, not just Korea.
So if you were going to organise Lisa to sing at your wedding or your any other big event coming up, what would you do? What would you go to
book
on the
her
internet?
in advance, maybe 5 years.
But who do you call?
Her label, Korean label.
So you call her K-pop record label?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Hello, can we help you?
Well,
what do you say? Can I speak to Lisa, please?
Yeah, I guess. No. So I guess what I would do is, actually, we should address this. The government has actually come out and said that they need to make an official invitation because once the news broke out that Lisa is going to be coming for the New Year celebration, a lot of people within Thailand, different companies, tried to approach the label, which might have caused a little bit of confusion as to who will actually bring her to Thailand and who will actually be responsible to take care of her while she comes here for the celebration. So the government itself is going to actually have to provide an official invitation.
Okay, just adding to this whole farrago, you've also got the situation where they're saying they're going to hold the concert a single concert, or are they
Yes.
going to have Andrea in one place and Lisa in another?
Bocellisa together.
Okay, however they're going to do it, they're saying they're going to hold it at the Saracen Bridge.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a Google image, an aerial image of the Saracen Bridge. You tell me where they're going to hold a concert for some, I don't know, 10, 20, 30,000 people.
Well, that small veranda or balcony, as some people might like to say.
Well, okay,
maybe
that holds 50.
Yeah. No, that's just for just for Lalisa and Andrea Bocelli, and then the entire bridge is going to be closed off. Nobody can enter Phuket because there's a concert going on, and everybody just stands there cheering.
Okay, good
Some
luck
people
if
are in
you're
the sea, in little boats. They've got like a little Venice thing going on.
Okay, well,
The Monaco Grand Prix, people are in boats.
that might work, but I just don't see it. Apart from the fact that it's only, 2 months? 2 months away.
Stop raining on everyone's parade. We want, what are we calling it? Bocellisa. We want Bocellisa for New Year's. It's Italian opera, Korean pop, Italian pop.
In the same article
You heard
today,
it.
it says that the TAT plans to organise a series of events in December, from memorial ceremonies for the 2004 tsunami, Krabi and Phang Nga, to New Year events to drive travel sentiment. Yeah, the celebrations, ceremonies. I mean, who wants to be reminded about the having a commemoration for the 2004 tsunami?
Wait,
Of
what
course,
does that have to do with anything?
well, they say that's what they're going to do. They're going to hold an event. Of course, they do this every year. They commemorate the
Yes.
tsunami, but tourists really don't want to be reminded about a tsunami as an attraction to come to Phuket, Krabi and Phang Nga. The whole thing just reeks of bad planning or zero planning. And
The memorial ceremonies, actually, they have, they're a lot quieter now. They
Sure.
used to be a lot more, bigger a couple of years ago, but now it's a lot, just like they quickly pay respects. But I understand
Sure.
a lot of people do argue that why do we need to be reminded of it every year, because it was such a tragic event for so many people. Many people just want to move on.
Well, my point, though, is that if you want to have a ceremony to commemorate the 2004 tsunami, how is that a tourist attraction, saying that there was a tsunami here? Keep an eye on the horizon, just in case.
I don't know.
It's just bizarre, the whole thing.
I don't know. Anyways, let's move on.
What is your bet? Are you betting? Are you going to take a bet
About?
that Andrea Bocelli and Lisa from Blackpink will be in Phuket on New Year's Eve?
Oof.
I'm going to place a bet that they won't.
Oh my lord. I don't know. We talk about this almost every day, that if even one of them doesn't end up showing, I mean, what are we going to do? There's no coming back from this.
The government and the TAT are going to look silly, and that's never happened before.
I believe in Bocellisa. This is happening.
Good luck.
Italian pop. You've heard it here first. Right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Prime Minister, who has recently addressed ASEAN. Virtually, that's correct. Via teleconference on the ongoing 38th and 39th ASEAN summits.
So they had a Zoom meeting.
That's right.
Okay.
Pretty much.
I mean, you can call it teleconferencing. You can
Yes.
build it up and as much as you like, but it was just a Zoom meeting.
That's right. And the Prime Minister has urged ASEAN members to follow Thailand's footsteps and start reopening to revive the economies in the regions. And he has urged all the leaders of the countries to, come up with a plan, or at least start reopening, so that everyone can prosper together.
Well, interesting that the Prime Minister should be urging them to open up after Thailand's sort of hatched this reopening plan for November the 1st.
Yes.
Thailand, with a falling number of daily cases over the past month. Other ASEAN countries are currently suffering a rise in cases. So it's all very well for the Prime Minister to urge them to reopen, but every country's in their own different stage of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm not really sure if the Prime Minister's in any place to tell the other countries what they should be doing with their reopening plans. Although, I mean, the sentiment to reopen, sure. I mean, everybody needs to try and plan to reopen, but you've got to get the case numbers down first.
That's right. Well, he was suggesting the ASEAN countries to have a travel framework where everyone has the same practices, where at least everyone has a mutual recognition of how how to basically monitor who's got what vaccines, if they've got vaccine passports, so that people can at least travel for business and then eventually for tourism.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea if there is some sort of commonality across Southeast Asian countries. So for tourists or travellers, they sort of roughly know, no matter which of the ASEAN countries they go to,
Yeah.
the procedures. If they're all the same, I think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
I noted this. Do you want to talk about this graph?
Sure, yes.
So this is from Worldometers today, worldometers.info, which has been the source for COVID numbers that the Thaiger's been using since the start of the pandemic. And I notice if we look at the countries with the highest number of new cases in the past 24 hours, you got the USA and the UK at the top, which a lot of people are scratching their heads about because, of course, these two countries are both being well developed with fairly highly developed medical and hospital systems, with most of the people vaccinated. So the most possibility of people being vaccinated. Russia and then Turkey, interestingly enough, and Germany up the top. You have to go all the way down to number 12 to find an Asian country. We've got India at 8. I apologise. Of course, India, second most populous nation in the world. Then Thailand at number 12. So it's in the top 12 of countries with new cases. I also noted, if you look at the Worldometers, that the rather horrifying milestone of 5 million deaths from coronavirus over 18 months is about to be reached. And that it appears, if you look at the graphs, that we're heading into, heaven forbid, a fourth wave. So I think you've got some more news about that later too.
Yes. All right, let's move on to Cambodia. However, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we're going to come back from the break, we're going to talk about Cambodia reopening, as well as the Delta Plus variant. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay. This is Tim. It's now time to talk about Cambodia. Tim, it's planning to reopen.
Yay!
Yay! So those of you who were excited to go to Cambodia can start getting excited. However, it's not Siem Reap or Phnom Penh. They are different places. So foreign tourists will soon be able to roam around Cambodia. However, not to Angkor Wat temples that are situated in Siem Reap. They are in the popular beach spots Sihanoukville, that's right. Thank you for helping me with that. And the island of Koh Rong, as well as Dara Sakor. Which is actually a Chinese-developed resort zone.
So is Sihanoukville. A lot of big Chinese casinos there.
I have never heard of these places before.
A lot of people saying that the Chinese have ruined Sihanoukville, which used to be a quiet little seaside resort.
Yes.
It's now got a lot of casinos, a lot of big investment and big buildings and big business, sort of become a bit of a Phuket.
I see. The northern city of Siem Reap, that's where the Angkor Wat temples are, a very big travel destination for all travelers around the world. That will be...
Have you been there?
Yes, I have. That will be quarantine-free travel will be available starting in January.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so yes, I have been to the Angkor Wat temples. I've been to Siem Reap. Amazing place.
Yeah,
Nice
I loved
atmosphere.
Phnom Penh, as it's one of my favourite capitals of Asia.
Okay.
Very interesting city, great food, and all sort of beautifully laid out and designed. A very interesting city.
Phnom Penh gives me Bangkok vibes, so I didn't enjoy it as much as Siem Reap. Siem Reap was something, it was surreal, just visiting the temples, the people there. It's a different atmosphere.
The place where they filmed Tomb Raider.
Yes, they
the
did.
original one with
I went
Angelina
to go see
Jolie.
that temple, yeah.
Now, it's interesting with Cambodia that they're talking about places that are not really on the tourist map for their reopening. A common narrative we get on our comments a lot of the time is, I'm not going back to Thailand, I'm going back to Vietnam or Cambodia. Well, both Vietnam and Cambodia are well behind Thailand as far as the reopening stakes. So that was a good update.
And a quick update for requirements. You will require certificates showing that you have been double vaccinated, health insurance covering treatment for COVID-19, a negative swab test prior to departure and upon arrival in the country, as well as you need to remain a minimum of 5 days at the pilot location and undergo a further swab test before you are allowed to explore other parts of Cambodia. So those of you who were talking about, I'm going to go to Cambodia, there's no requirements, There are some requirements.
A lot more requirements, it appears, than getting back into Thailand. Also noticed they used to have a deposit. You had to pay a $1,000 US dollar deposit.
When?
That would be refunded to you if you went to Cambodia. Is that not in the list?
No.
It wasn't very popular, so it looks like they've removed it.
Oh, okay. All right. And the last topic for today will be the Delta Plus variant. Now, in the last 2 days, Thailand has recorded its first case of the Delta Plus variant, which would have put a lot of people on alert and also definitely scared, knowing that there's another variant. However, some good news. Detection of the first case of Delta variant has now had the Public Health Ministry come out and say that you need not worry. It is not as contagious or as bad as when the Delta variant first came out, because that was something that was easily spread, as well as it was more resistant to drugs to treat the Alpha and Delta variant. But this special variant, the Delta Plus variant, is not as effective in spreading and that damaging compared to the other variants.
Why haven't they given it its own Greek alphabet name? Why is it the Delta Plus?
I guess it's a variant derived from the Delta variant?
A variant of Delta variant.
A variant of the Delta variant.
Okay.
Cannot confirm that.
So I think there's been one locally transmitted case
Yeah.
in Thailand, and then a total of 4
Yes.
cases of the Delta Plus variant
That's right.
detected in the past few days.
So in conclusion, the Delta Plus variant is not considered a significant a variant of COVID-19, as well as it's basically deemed as a minor variant of the virus, and therefore it will not disrupt any planned reopening of Thailand, and therefore the public health ministry has come out and said, need not worry.
Nothing is going to stop November the 1st.
As of right now. Anything's possible tomorrow or later today.
Are we going to put a bet on Bocelli and Lisa coming? We're going to put some money on the table?
Yes, let's do it. Bocellisa.
I'm putting down 1,000 baht.
What? That's ridiculous.
That
I thought you were going to do 100 baht.
that it won't be happening.
1,000 baht?
1,000 baht.
Oh my lord. Okay, I need
That's
the
about as
viewers'
much as
help.
you spend for lunch each day.
Yeah. 1,000 baht, that's like lunch for a week.
So you on for it?
Let me get back to you then.
Oh, come on.
1,000 baht.
Shake here.
What? That
1,000 baht.
But I don't think Lisa will make it. I think Andrea Bocelli will. Can I do halfway?
No, you
500 for each. 500 for each.
All right, 500 for each.
Okay, let's do it.
They're not coming. That's what I'm saying.
Come on, TAT, don't let me down. This is for Thailand and 500 baht. All right. That's it.
Not quite.
Why not?
I do have something more.
Do you? Okay.
Because next year in Phuket, following the great success of Andrea Bocelli and Lisa, they got the Thailand International Boat Show, and that's on from the 3rd to the 6th. Are you looking at buying a new yacht?
Not very soon. Maybe in a couple of years.
Well,
though.
you could probably just go and have a little bit of a look at the selection awaiting you.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to be doing this show from the Thailand International Boat Show.
Oh, are we now? Cool.
Yes.
I totally knew about that.
But sorry to spring it on you on air, but yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, sure.
We've got a whole week there out in the bright... Well, no, it won't be in the sunshine because it's sort of in the morning. But be nice there to sort of be among the yachts and the champagne and the pretty
Something
people.
fancy about yachts and boats, you know? Everybody dresses up in white clothes and goes, yes, yes, yes.
I look... How do they go?
Yes, that's my yacht. Yes.
I look ridiculous in white, but we'll be dressed up somehow. And at the Thailand International Boat Show, it's from the 3rd to the 6th of January.
Right. Thank you for that, Tim. All right, those are all the topics we have for today. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you do have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Click like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of you, 50% of you actually, more than 45, watch the show and don't subscribe. So please subscribe. And yeah, that's it. That's all from us from here at the Bangkok head office. We'll see you tomorrow.